And we're back. Good morning from the office, or should I say good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge here in Fannin County. I'm your host, BKP. I'm happy to have with us the Republican candidate for chairman of Fannin County, Mr. Stan Helton. And we were talking about that. Welcome, congratulations on your election, Mr. Helton. And we were talking about that during the break. Actually, you will be on the ballot as the Republican candidate, but unless there's any opposition, we can't officially call you chairman-elect yet, but, right?
Well, I don't like to assume or presume. I like, you know.
I'm with you on that.
I'm technically just what you said at first, so.
Okay, we'll just go with congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Helton, but you're currently serving and have for some time as the chair of the Water Authority. So give us a little bit before we get into your election. Give us a little bit of what's taking place at the Fannin County Water Authority as chairman, and also share some of the transition plans as you hopefully take office here in a couple months.
Okay. Well, we're very, very happy to have a real good project that we're focusing on right now. It's Riverwalk off of Curtis Switch, where we have a number of homes in that area that need municipal water, and we will start construction on that project soon. Maybe a couple of months. We're hoping to start doing some real work over there. That's ongoing. That process will start, and hopefully, we can get done in a year. But that depends on some of the things we might run into over there. There's some rock. There's some areas there that'll be kind of tough to work around. But we're just happy that we've got a real good project going forward, and we're continuing this growth, solid growth, stable growth, and our plans are to make the Water Authority financially viable on its own, without any SPLOST or any other additional revenue to come in, and that takes a lot of slow foundation building to make sure we do the right projects and that they pay off, and that the people that are benefiting from those services will pay the bill, not the greater whole of Fannin County.
Well, let's talk about, so that would mean, as far as the election, that would mean that the current commission would have to appoint a new member to the Water Authority before the end of the year.
Well, what's going to happen there, Brian? We have our last meeting of the fiscal year next week for the Water Authority, and I will chair that meeting. At the end of the meeting, we will elect new officers for the fiscal year 2016, July 1st to June 30th of 2017. And what we will do is elect new officers. I will step down as chairman. I will remain on the board until the end of the year, and if the election proceeds as we expect, then after the first of the year, I will step off of the Water Authority completely. Now, I'm not required by law to do that, but I really just feel in the best interest of the Water Authority, and with what I anticipate having to be involved with, that it's just best to do that and not have, I don't want anybody to assume that I'm trying to be take too much authority over to distinct governments. So we've got good people on the board. We've got fabulous folks, and our board will decide who would be the replacement for me. And what I'll do is stay on the board and assist them, whoever that is, and do all I can to make sure that's a smooth transition.
Well, I know we still have a half a year out in front of us, but in some ways that's plenty of time. But if you already put thought to transition and how you plan to go forward and work with you will be serving with Post Commissioner Earl Johnson and Post Commissioner Larry Joe Sosby. But have you already put some kind of game plan together on transitioning into that office if the elections continue to go?
Well, the first goal I had was to go over and I guess bury the proverbial hatchet with Chairman Simons And we did that, and thankfully he didn't bury that hatchet in my skull. I was very relieved at that. He was very magnanimous.
Okay.
He was very magnanimous, and I was just so encouraged by his attitude. And we met as gentlemen, and we put everything about the election in the past. That just went off.
Well, that's the people. The people went and they decided what they wanted to do, and I would say this: if you got upset, which somebody obviously, lack of a way to put it in words, but if you lose, you lost. But the reality is that's what the people decided. You have to humble yourself and say that was the choice of the people.
Right. Well, I really felt it was important for me to humble myself and to respect him. He's still the chairman of this county.
Absolutely.
And any employees or anyone that I talk to, they need to respect that and understand it. And I conveyed to Mr. Simons that I have no intent to interfere with anything at all. I want to learn. That's moving on with this process, and the secondary goal was, I felt like, first of all, establishing a go-forward relationship with Mr. Simons. And I think we're off to a great start with that. He is going to help me to learn as much as I can, as much as my poor brain will take in. And we're going to do everything to make sure it's a smooth transition, because I can assure you, he and I both have the interest of the county at heart. That's number one. And he and I are in great agreement that that's what we need to do. And so we'll start that little slow process to do that.
Well, that being said, he does have a term to complete, and he has to continue to do the business for the citizens of Fannin County as elected. So I think that that's the right thing to do, is to say you've got a term to complete and at the best interest of the citizens. Let me ask you a couple more things now as far as transitioning in. And I seen this just recently, a little over a year ago, in a previous election in another county where a new chairman was taking over. And the former chairman brought this, because what happens when the transition, folks, is Mr. Helton's going to operate actually in 2017 off a budget that was approved in 2016. So you walk in and it's your budget, but you didn't pass it. So I've already seen this. And the reason I asked this is this particular former chairman actually brought the chairman-elect into the process. There was everything about the budget. That current chairman was in the process with him and the two post commissioners. And this gentleman said in public all the time, we're passing a budget that he has to operate under, and it's only right he get involved. So do you feel that they will offer that to you, that opportunity to get involved in the budget and at least have a voice in it?
I hope so, and I think they will. And basically what I would like is just to be an observer, and if they ask me for my input, to do that. But it's a real touchy line. You don't want to interject yourself and overstep your bounds. I'm very, very cognizant
I can
of
respect that. I can understand that.
I certainly hope so. I would welcome that, and I would like to, but I will be just a very interested and alert observer. And if I have some input and they ask for that, I will do it in a respectful manner. But I hope that happens, and we'll see. I think the kind of men, both the post commissioners and the chairman, I don't see any issues with that whatsoever.
One more thing is next Tuesday night they're having a SPLOST workshop. Okay, they're having a SPLOST workshop before the actual meeting, and the SPLOST, the Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, is on your ballot to renew it, 1 penny, to renew it in Fannin County this November, folks. So you're going to renew it. But when you go to the ballot, you're going to see all the things that the SPLOST is dedicated spending, right? It's dedicated. You have to spend it on the things of citizens, right. And you got to put a list of dedicated things you want to do, and then it has to be spent on that. Right. Tuesday, they're going to have a SPLOST workshop. Do you have any particular things yourself? Because the SPLOST coming in and being spent is going to be during your administration. So are there anything particular you'd like to see on that ballot in November yourself?
Well, I would certainly like to see the Water Authority on there. We've had a splost allocation for the previous 6 years, and we've already presented to the Board of Commissioners what the Water Authority would like to see, and we will take there was a reduction, which hopefully that we looked at that very, very carefully to see if we could do that, and we can. And hopefully that helps the other projects that the county needs to do, give them a little money, free up some money for them. So, at the bottom line, Brian, it's the people are the ones that have to vote and put that splost in. And the commissioners are listening to the people. They have been doing this for some time. And I'm confident that what they put in there is something that I can live with, because the citizens are going to remain the same regardless of who's in the chairman's seat.
Well, Mr. Helton, as we get closer, obviously everybody right now may be scurrying around saying, what do you plan to do? What do you plan to do? But I understand there's a lot of time between now and then, and we have a budget coming up in the end of the year, and you've got a lot of work in front of you with transition and water authority. So we know you have a full plate. We want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
This is the honeymoon process, okay? We'll let you know right up front, okay? All right. Now, just saying. I mean, this is.
We'll see how well those honeymoon, those wheels on the honeymoon bus are placed on there. Somebody may try to take them off real quick.
I tell you what we'll do is anytime you want to come back, you're welcome. But what we'll do is we get closer to the end of the year, we'll get together, and that way I know you're out there right now. I seen you at another meeting last night, but I know you're out there right now absorbing, taking in, listening.
Yep, listening.
2 ears, 1 mouth, so you're listening, sitting in the back of the room.
You got it.
I got a lot of respect for that. I want to say that where I seen you last night. I got a lot of respect for that. As we get closer to that time, we'll sit down and go over and say, okay, you've had the last 4 or 5 months. Now, what does the Stan Helton administration look like, or you have plans for it? We're good for that?
Very good.
Again,
right.
Congratulations, Mr.
Thank
Helton.
you. Appreciate it.
Again, we can't officially say chairman-elect because actually in North Georgia, Mr. Helton has won the Republican primary, but generally in the area, there's usually not a Democrat challenger that I'm aware of on the ballot, and at this time, we've not heard of an independent, so we may be officially able to say that here in a couple weeks. But we've been here with Stan Helton, that you, the Fannin County citizens, elected as the Republican candidate to be your next chairman of Fannin County. Take a brief break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how's the rest of the world looking at us? What are some of the things they're writing in the paper? And what do they think about Donald Trump? I know what I think, but we'll tell you right after these messages. Lonnie, take us to